So good evening everyone. Last week we completed unit 14 hydrocarbon lesson. Today we are going to start unit 15 Biosphere lesson. This is the last lesson of your syllabus, and you will be getting O-level paper structured essay compulsory question from this. O-level paper structured essay compulsory question from this. That means question number 1. Therefore, this lesson is very important. This entire question from this lesson. Grade 11. This unit 15. So you get O-level science paper, Western Prize paper, O-level science paper, O-level science paper, structured essay, question number 1. Structured essay, question number 1 from this lesson. That means the compulsory question. Structured essay, question number 1. Therefore, this lesson is very important because it's compulsory. This structured essay, the entire question number 1 from this. Question number 2 from biology. Question number 3 from chemistry, and question number 4 physics, compulsory question. And one more thing. Please raise the hand those who got diagnostic text. We call it Anavarna Parikshana, Western. Please raise the hand, not the marks. Please raise the hand those who have done the diagnostic test by the Provincial Department of Education, Western Province. Those who got that, those who have done this paper, 12th of January, the science paper, diagnostic test paper. Please raise the hand those who have done the Western Province diagnostic test paper. How many have you done? Right, around 25. That means around 20 students not done that, right? Okay. So I will discuss that paper also in the paper class within next 2 weeks. Maybe some of you might have discussed this with the school teacher, but there are some important areas I have to highlight in that paper. That is not a hard paper. And one more thing. So then my second question, please raise the hand those who got marks for this paper. Western Province science paper, diagnostic test paper, or in Sinhala we call it Anavarna Parikshana. They have given 15 MCQs, 2 structured essays and 2 essays. Those who got marks, please raise the hand. Right. Only 3 students got marks, others didn't get marks yet. Right. Anyway, that paper you have to get at least 60 or above, because O-level science paper and Western Province third term paper will be definitely harder than that. No doubt about that. Because that is like just to check before the O-level science paper and before the Western Province paper, just to have an idea your standard. And yesterday, Ministry of Provincial Department of Education, they inform about the third term test paper, third term test. Your grade 9, 10 and 11. The papers will be set by the Provincial Department of Education for the third term test, grade 9, grade 2021 third term test, right? So, so that will be in March. Grade 10, 11, 25th of March till 1st of April. Including the Saturday. They have, but sometimes they might change depend on the health. The pandemic situation, they might change. But it's already the date schedule like this. Okay. If you only can note down those dates, Western Province third term paper, the withdrawal year-end paper. Grade 11, Western Province, grade 11, third term test. Third term test scheduled on March. Third term test. That is from 20. I give the dates, but they might. So now it's scheduled from 25th of March. 25th March 2022 from 25th of March 2022 to 1st of April 2022, right? Is your grade 11, that means O level third term test paper. So then they are giving holidays, the school holidays on 8th of April 8th April till 18th April, the school holidays till 18th April, holidays. And again they can start this actually till 17th. You have that, and again 18th they will start this 18th of April. Then new term begins on 18th of April. New term for the other students, then you will get the study leave. New term for the, I am talking about this government approved and the semi-government schools. Government approved and the government schools and government approved private schools or semi-government schools. So 18th of April, the new terms, that means what? This time O level batch they will get holidays, maybe the study leave from 18th of April until O level exam, until May you will be getting the study leave. But some schools they will call for the seminars and all stuff. So this is the plan. Now today is 21st of January. 21st of January. So you will be having nearly 3 more months. Actually not, yeah, about 3 more months for the exam. Okay, so this is about there are some students in the waiting room. Okay, done. Please try to join on time. If you have any question to us, you can raise hand about this. And remember, some of the students, those who are not getting the Western Province paper and this diagnostic test paper. Anyway, the science paper I'll discuss with you. So until the end of April, until the end of April, I'll be doing the paper class. So I'll continue the paper class until the end of April. But theory class, now today I'm going to start the 15th lesson, the Biosphere lesson. So then most probably by the like within next month I will be able to complete the 15th lesson, Biosphere lesson. Then some systems we have to discuss, right? So some important systems we have to discuss. So with that, I think until the end of March we will be doing until the theory also, because we have to discuss that in detail. No point of doing in a hurry, because anyway you'll forget it again. If you don't study for about 1 month, again it will go blank. Okay, so then I'll erase this. If you want to, you can take a screenshot of this. So these are the scheduled dates for the your third term test. Please raise the hand those who are from international schools and the private schools. Those who are not getting those who are not got the diagnostic or the third term papers, those are not getting. So you have to inform me beforehand, then send a request through WhatsApp. I'll forward those papers. So you have to practice those papers before the oral exam, because you don't have much past papers under the syllabus, right? Okay, no problem, no issues. You can send a request. So after the exam, not before the exam, after the exam I'll send the paper, right? With the, if you want, you can I can give the marking scheme also. Okay, I'll erase the screen now. Let's move on to the I think many students now joined. Okay, let's see the theory tube now. Biosphere lesson. Actually sphere, so if you break down this into two, like it's bio means living, biosphere means areas in the earth where the living organisms are found. Biosphere means the regions of the earth where the living organisms are found. That is called biosphere. Actually there's a subject called ecology. Basically in single we call it Parisara Vidya. So actually this comes under this A level, this come under ecology, right? So this is the first part of this lesson. And I told you the importance of this lesson. This is the last lesson. Your structure is a compulsory question from this lesson. So the first part is what? Organizational levels of the environment. Organization levels of the environment and interaction of organism interaction and organism and non-living environmental. That's why you call it ecological balance. Environmental equilibrium or ecological balance. So before organizational levels of the biosphere, you have done the organizational levels of the living organism. I mean the organism. Organism, the organization level you have done in grade 10 and 11. Cells combine to form. Can you remember that? Cells combine to form tissues. Cells you learn in grade 10. Animal cell, plant cell, microorganism, bacterial cell. Then tissues combine to form organ. The tissues and organs, this is actually grade 10 you learn cells. So this is grade 11 unit 1 living tissues, right? This is grade 10 unit 6 cells. Then you learn about the organs and then organs combine to form systems. Organs and systems you learn in grade 11 unit 6 systems. So this is under grade 11 unit 6. You learn this in different places, but if you organize them, it represents increase in order or the hierarchy of the increase in order of the complexity or organization levels of the organism. The systems form the organism. All this living. But when it's come to the biosphere, there's non-living part also there. Non-living part also. If you take the environment or the biosphere, then it becomes what? You start with one organism or an individual, or then I'll move to the theory now. This is the textbook one. So look at the theory. I have posted this theory to your WhatsApp. Please raise the hand those who have got the hard copy of this theory. Those who have got the hard copy now. The printout of this theory, please raise the hand. Right, okay, around at least 50% you have got it, right? Those who couldn't get the theory, you can copy down only the answers, page number and put number 1, biosphere, right? Okay, let's see what is biosphere. So biosphere means actually the collection of all the ecosystems on the earth. What is biosphere? Collection of all the ecosystems on the earth. Collection of all the, okay, please complete the first blank. Collection of all the ecosystems on the earth. Ecosystem means like both living and non-living organisms are there. Both living and non-living environment, right? In the biosphere. So biosphere can be divided again into 3 parts: lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. So biosphere, there are living organisms in the aquatic environment. That is called hydrosphere. There are organisms in the land or terrestrial environment as well as in atmosphere. So please complete the first blank. Biosphere means collection of all the ecosystems in the earth. Collection of all the ecosystems in the earth. Biosphere. Done. Collection of all the ecosystems on the earth. They can ask this in the exam. Remember, now this is okay. I'll show you the teacher's guide. This is also very important. My advice now, when you are studying now, teacher's guide also you can download from the internet. TG new syllabus TG grade 11. G11. So if you are those who are studying only from the maybe some subjects you are not going for tuition, some subjects you are studying only from the textbook or without going, so then you have to refer this also. This is also very important, not only the textbook, because some teachers teach only from the textbook, some teachers they don't look at even the teacher's guide. So remember the last part of this teacher's guide you can get from this nie.lk website. www.NIE National Institute of Education Sri Lanka website. You can download the TG. Look at the last part. This is what, now remember, your paper is set based on the teacher's guide, right? Teacher's instruction manual, not only from the textbook, not only from the textbook. Please remember that. Right. So this lesson, they have, let's see the first part of this lesson. They have given here what you should know. We call them learning outcomes. So at the end of this lesson, the students should be able to, so this is what they test in the exam. Learning outcomes means after learning this lesson, this is what you are expected. This is what you are expected from you. Learning outcomes in Sinhala, we call it, in Sinhala medium teachers guide, they'll call it Iganum Pala. So you should be able to whom? To the students, not the teacher. The student should be able to what? State the organization levels of the biosphere in the hierarchical order. The increase in, so this one they can ask a question from this. So they can make a question to test this. You should be able to describe the organization level. When you look at these learning outcomes, this is what they can test in the exam. Therefore, no point of memorizing the entire textbook. So then after, first you should look at these learning outcomes, then study the textbook. That's my advice. Then patterns, or you can see the first two, that's what we are going to discuss now. These two this is what I have given in my theory first 2 pages. What? These two, cover up these two learning outcomes, right? What? The student should be able to state the organizational levels of the biosphere and describe those organizational levels. After that, I'll come back to this again. And there are some instruction for the teacher for the lesson planning, right? Anyway, so therefore it's for the teachers, but anyway, no harm, the students also using. Then you can check whether the teacher is teaching the right thing or not, whether teacher has covered all this or not. You can check, right, after teaching, after getting the note. So that is my advice. Teacher's guide also you should refer, then you can check whether you are doing the correct thing or not. Okay, what is biosphere? Collection of all the, please complete the first blank, collection of all the ecosystems. Collection of all the ecosystems on the earth. All the ecosystems. Don't worry, we are discussing ecosystems also again. All the ecosystems on the earth is known as biosphere. Right. Complete the first blank, ecosystems. Number 2, components of the biosphere. So biosphere consists of 3 components. Number 1, lithosphere. Number 1, lithosphere. Complete the blank. Those who have got the printout, lithosphere. What is lithosphere? Crust and the mantle of the earth. That means earth crust and his mantle. That means Prithvi Kabala. Then the ocean and the freshwater bodies. So that means inland water and the sea water. So all the water bodies, the organisms, so that is called hydrosphere. Hydrosphere. I also have done about 2-3 lessons under this unit 15, the Biosphere Gurugedara program, NIE channel NIE. You can search in the YouTube channel NIE, National Institute of Education. That's a channel, and the E Taksalava also they have uploaded this, Minister of Education E Taksalava. You can watch those videos also, the Gurugedara videos. I also have done some. Then you can update later when they, after learning the lesson, then you can watch them, right? Then hydrosphere. Third one. So that actually this hydrosphere, around 70% of the earth covered by the hydrosphere. 70% of the earth surface. 70% of earth surface covered by what? Hydrosphere. 70% of the earth surface covered by hydrosphere. Right. Then next one. Hydrosphere. That means 70%, right? Then next one, all the regions which contain air around the earth, we call it atmosphere. So therefore, biosphere can be divided into 3 main parts: lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Atmosphere. Please copy down these 3. lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Number 3, organization. This is very important. 3 stars. This is very important. This organization levels of the biosphere. That's what they have given the learning outcomes in the teacher's guide. So first I have given an individual. That means one organism of any particular species known as an individual. So I have given just first one. You can write example, an elephant or one organism, an individual. But if you take group of organisms, group underline, interbreed naturally and produce fertile offsprings. This is the definition. This one very important, and the individual they don't ask the definition, but this one is very important. Put about 3 stars for this one. That is called the species. That is called the species. There are some video clips and PowerPoint slide also. I'll show them later. So complete the next blank. That is species. Group of organism interbreed naturally and they produce offsprings and they are fertile. I'll give one of the best example. So to become any organism to put into this species, they should be that group. All the organisms in that group should be able to interbreed and should be able to produce next generation, and that generation also should be fertile enough. They also should be able to reproduce. Example, can you put cow and elephant into the same species? Can't. Why? Cow and elephant. Why can't we put cow and elephant into the same species? Can you cross cow and elephant? Can't. Cow and elephant you can't cross. Cat and dog can you cross? Can't. Interbreed means they should be able to reproduce, naturally reproduce. Interbreed naturally. That word is, do you understand the meaning of this word? Interbreed naturally means, that's why you can't put even plants also same thing. Cross pollination, self pollination within the same species or within the same family. Landing of pollens from the jack on the coconut not successful. So they belong to 2 different species. Therefore interbreed plus you should get a new plant or new individuals. That means fertile offsprings you should get, and those offsprings from the reproduction you should get new organism. That organism also should be what? Fertile. Fertile means what? Should be able to produce again the next generation. So these 3 conditions should be satisfied in the group of similar organism. If you want to underline them, what are the 3 conditions? Group of structurally similar. If you take, let's see humans, Sri Lankan or Chinese or Japanese, but the position of the nose and the blood components of the blood and the morphological features, all the same. If you take blood is red in any human, right? Red blood cells are present. 4 different types of teeth, right? Male teeth, the body is covered with hair. Like there are some common features. Asians or Australians or Sri Lankan or Japanese or Chinese, what? Jewish or anyone. So it's structurally similar. If you take the skull, the brain, the parts of the brain, so they are all structurally similar, right? Now that is called the group of similar organism. And the other most important is the interbreed naturally. So you can cross. So there are marriages between Tamils and Muslims, or Muslims and Europeans and Asians. So there are marriages. So from those marriages there are offspring, children or next generation. They also should be able to reproduce. One of the best example, I'll give one of the best example for this. Horse and donkey. Horse and donkey can interbreed. Horse and donkey can reproduce. You can cross horse and donkey, and you get a new offspring also. This is one exception. Donkey and horse can reproduce, and you get a fertile offspring also. But that one is not you don't get fertile one, you get a offspring but not fertile. So one condition is not satisfied. They are not fertile enough, they cannot produce again. So that one is called, who is that called? In single we call Ashwai Buruai, we call Kotalua. Who is that? Kotalua, right? When you cross horse and donkey, you get mule. But mule is not considered as species. Look at the screen, everyone. Donkey and horse, therefore you can't put both donkey and horse to the same species. Why? Because mule is not fertile. You get an offspring. Okay, look at here. They look bit structurally similar. They can interbreed also. You can get offspring mule. Mule is the offspring, but this condition is not satisfied. Mule is not fertile. Mule cannot produce. Again, similar ones. Again, you have to get a mule from horse and donkey. Mule cannot reproduce. Maybe reproduce, but no offsprings. That is the end of mule generation. We call it Kotalua. So therefore, you can't put horse and donkey to the same species because that one condition is not satisfied, because mule is not fertile. Is that clear? Similarly, you can have a lion and tiger. Lion and tiger also can cross. When lion and tiger cross, you get liger. You can search in the internet. Liger. But therefore what? Liger is not fertile. Therefore, you can't put lion and tiger to the same species because liger is not fertile. There are few more other examples like this. Very rarely this happen. Otherwise, some of the organism like horse and donkey, at least you get a new organism. But if you cross cow and dog, you can't do that. Right? Dog and cat, it's not possible. You will not get any organism. Therefore, to put all the organisms, even though some organisms are structurally similar, to put them into the same species, they should be able to interbreed or reproduce, and they should be able to produce new generation, new organisms, so offsprings, plus those offsprings also should be fertile. I don't want you to memorize the definition without understanding. Sometimes what happens, you memorize the textbook definition or the teacher's note definition. Species what? Group of similar organism, interbreed naturally, and you memorize these words as it is. That is not practical. If you do this for all 9 subjects, you will go mad and you will be in the mental hospital. Why? How can you memorize word by word all these definitions? It's not possible. Therefore, all our science paper, they don't check active or passive voice or whether grammatical correct. If you include these technical words or the active words or the keywords, interbreed naturally, fertile word, and offsprings, they check whether these words are included in your answer. Even if you write half of the page paragraph, if these keywords are not included in your answer, no marks in the exam. Right? So therefore, you can arrange them, you can change the position of the word. So you can put them in, if you only can have producing fertile offsprings, but after interbreeding them naturally by group of organisms, you can put them in any order you want. But it should reflect the same meaning. What matters here, not the quantity of your answer, the quality matters here. Remember that. Therefore, please put 3 stars near species, and you should know the definition of species. So example, Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens can reproduce, but Homo sapiens and say any other organism, you can't, right? That's because they belong to different species. Right, that is about the space. Then next one, number 3. I'll erase the screen. Third one. What is number 3? After, okay, there's a flow diagram also here. Okay, I'll complete parallel to that. I'll complete this also, then it's easy for you. First you get how many blanks I have given? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. So you can write here first one species. Then number 2 if you want, you can start with the individual also, no problem. Individual, then you can write species, similar individuals. Species means not only one, individual one. Species means group, very important. It's a group of organism. One man individual. Group of humans, a species. Please remember that. One bat living in a tree, that is an individual. But group of bats, then species. Very important. Then next one, after the species, you get population. Number 3, population. This order you have to remember. Look at the teacher's guide. They have given learning outcomes. So you should know this order. Sometimes they can give this in the structured essay also for fill in blanks. Population. After population, okay, individual, species, population. Then you get community, prajava. Community. After community, you get ecosystem. Don't worry, I'll explain one by one. Now I explain the first two. First two I explain, and after that we have to start population. Number 3, population. Then community. Then you get ecosystem. Ecosystem. After ecosystem, you get a biosphere. Biosphere. After biosphere, you get what? Planet Earth. The planet Earth. If you only can write that separately. Planet Earth. The planet Earth. Right. So this order you have to remember. What? One organism of any species, individual. Group of organism belong to the same species. That means to the same group. I mean, group of organism is structurally similar and interbreed and produce fertile offspring. So this one, number 2, they can ask the definition in the exam. Number 3 also they can ask the definition in the exam. Definition you should know. Population also they can ask. Then population means what? We are discussing one by one, don't worry. Then after that you get community, ecosystem, biosphere. If you only write here planet Earth. Now look at, now we are at number 3. So number 1 and 2 we discussed. Individual and species I explained. Then number 3, population. Look at number 3 here, population. Population means what? Group of, okay, right, complete the blank here, population. After species you get population. In single we call it Visheshaya, as I remember is Gahanaya, something like that. Yeah. Population. Group of organisms belong to the same species. In the population, they should belong to the same type or same type. Same species. Can't be different species. You can't put cat and bat. If bats, all the bats living in a particular location. Location you have to tell. Where? Highlight the word where. Location highlight. Where? Location you have to give. And time period you have to give. Who, where, when. When. Time period means when. Who, the organism. Who means organism. Then location means where. Who, where, when. Who, where, when. And the number also you have to tell. How many. Group means you have to mention. The quantity also you have to mention. How many. So they have given, when you, sometimes in the exam, they can give the example and ask what it is. Now here you have, I have asked you to write the example. There are 3 things they can ask. They will ask you what is known as population. That is the definition. Then you have to write this definition. Sometimes they will give which of the following best describe the population. MCQ also they can ask from this. Which of the following is correct about population. Third one they can give. They will give the example and ask to which entity it belongs. To which organizational level this belongs. Whether it's population or whether it's come under community or like that. So therefore, who, where, when, how many. If you only write that, when you write an example for the population, your example should include what? These 3. Who, where, when, how many. How many? That means the number. How many elephants? Where? Yala. When? 2001. How many? The number. Who, where, when. Who, where, when, how many. Who, where, when, how many. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Is that clear, everyone? where, when, how many. Let's see whether it's matched with the, okay, I'll show one of the example given in the textbook. Okay, so we will write the example. You can write the textbook example or any other example, no issues. So let's the textbook, the example they have given for the population. Look at the screen. Look at here. Population. Look at the textbook one. Who? Elephants. Look at here. Who? Elephants. Where? Yal. When? 2011. How many? This much. Yeah. You get the answers to all this. If you miss one of these, what? No marks for that example. Who? Elephants. Where? Yal. When? 2011. How many? This much. This number no need to memorize. Here also not, because they don't check the accuracy of this number and the year. So your example, okay, if you write here, don't write 1 or 2 elephants. You can write a reasonable amount, maybe 1000 or 1200. Even that number they will accept. No need to write the exact value, because you can't memorize this exact number. Here also you can change, no problem. In addition, okay, let's see the second example for population. Now I am teaching you how to remember this example easily. Who, where, when, how many? Who, where, when, how many? Who? Human. Where? In Sri Lanka. When? 2014. How many? Nearly 21 million. 21 million. Now it's more than that. Is that clear? You can take any other example. Deer population at Yala. Or any other example you can take, even in a grassland you can take. Location you have to tell. It may be a country, or it may be the entire country, or it may be a rainforest or selected area. So now did you all understand how to remember the example for the population? Group of organism and living in a certain area in a certain time period. Group of similar organisms living in a certain place in a certain time period. Right. So we'll write that example. We'll write one example here. Deer population at Yala National Park in 1999. Right, you can write a number. Or elephant population at Yala National Park in 2011, like this much. Okay, let's move back to the theory tune. I'll erase this. Okay, population will write one example, one or two example you can write here, right? Elephant population. You better copy down in your short notebook. What? Who, where, when, how many? Huh? Elephant. Who? Elephant. Elephant's population. Where? At Yala. Yala National Park. When? In 2011. And you can tell the number. No need to memorize that entire number. The exactly given in the textbook. You can write a reasonable one for this. They have given here 5,800. I'll write just 5,800. In year 2001 is 5,800. I'll just write 5,800. Say 5,800. So elephants population at Yala in 2011 is 5,800, or any other number you can write. Even the year you can change, not memorize this exact value and the year. Right, okay, I just gave one example, but they can give MCQ like this. Which of the following best explain or best describe the population? They can give 4 answers. One answer, the location is missing. The other answer, the time period is missing. The other answer, the number, quantity is missing. Then there will be one answer, everything with everything. Then you should know how to select the answer. That's how you get the question in the oral paper. Right? Is that clear? Okay. Then number 4. Look at the screen, 4th one. Okay, population I explained. Who, where, when, how many? Huh? And all the please write that if you want. All the organism in the population should belong to the same species. All the organism in the population, say human population, only humans. You can't put elephants there. Elephant population, only elephants. So please write that. only one group of organism, only one species. Only one species. Population consists only one type, only one species. Only one species. Is that clear? Right. Then next one, number 4. What is the fourth level? First I gave individual, number 2 I gave a species, and number 3 population. Number 4, all the populations in a certain place, a group of different, not the same population. You can't take elephant from Udavalava, elephants from Pinnavala, and elephants from Yala, and you get everything into one place, and you can't tell that is a community. Or so that is population. They should come from different types or different species. That's, we call it community. So if you take a pond as a community, the pond community, pond community contain population of frog, population of tadpoles, population of algae, population of aquatic plants, insects, like that. Different types of organism. They can belong to different species, right? But they interact with each other for various needs, or for food, predation, parasitism, like that. So right here, the blank number 4 after population, you get community. Right? Community. So until community, actually only living. If you only can put a curly bracket, until number 4 it's living. Okay, I'll put a curly bracket here. Sorry, I'll put a curly bracket in this one. Look at the screen. I'll put a curly bracket for all this. All this I will put a curly bracket until community it's living. Until community it's living. And when it's come to the ecosystem, it's become non-living. So this is what? Only living things. Please mark that with a pencil at least. Only living things. Only living organism. But when it's come to the ecosystem, both living and non-living there. So this is the place where it changed. So the turning point. When it's come to ecosystem, what happened? Living plus non-living environment. Living plus non-living environment. Right. Until community, only living. The place where the non-living comes to interact with them, ecosystem. Example, Singharaja forest. Actually, living things cannot be separated from non-living things. Okay, I'll ask a simple question. Are you all connected with any non-living things at this moment? Please tell me. Please, anyone, any volunteers? What is the non-living thing you interact now? Now you interact with non-living things. Tell me one non-living thing that you interact at this moment. Devish?
Mobile phone.
Mobile phone, right? Okay. Other than that, I'm telling, like, not involuntarily, like you take this to your body, inside your body, something non-living component that is taken into your body now, inside the body. I mean, it goes into the body. Suran?
Yeah.
Lungs. Suran, you get lungs, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and
Yeah, actually, not lungs. Lungs inside the body. Lungs are living cells. Actually, yeah, you gave the. I mean, you got it right. Oxygen or the air. Air non-living. Oxygen non-living. So, non-living oxygen is, we cannot live even 1 second. Few seconds we can't live without oxygen. The brain and the heart will die. Therefore, even though we'll separately, like we divide them as living and non-living, non-living can stay alone, but living things cannot survive without non-living things. That's what the most people want to understand. Again, I'm repeating that. Living things cannot survive in this earth without non-living things. One of the best example, oxygen, non-living. But can you live without oxygen? Non-living and can't. Therefore, living things cannot be separated from the non-living things. One example, oxygen. Number 2, water. After oxygen, what is the most, you don't need mobile phones or any other things to live. To live, you need oxygen. To live, you need water. And to live, you need food to eat. Even without clothes, you can live, right? But you need those three, right? Those three. Air, water, and air means oxygen, water, and food. Food is non-living. Water non-living. Oxygen non-living. So, but you cannot live without. Therefore, living and non-living cannot be separated. You can understand that now, right? Therefore, this non-living thing is called abiotic. Living things called biotic. Right. Did you all mark this here? Until community living, only living things. Non-living and living interaction begins when it comes to the only living things. Non-living, living both. The interaction come when it comes to the ecosystem. Please mark that here. Very, very important. You can put a curly bracket until community and write only living things. Then under ecosystem, right? I'll put number 5 there. Then write living and non-living interaction. Living, non-living interaction. Ecosystem. Well, after ecosystem and after that non-living things also there. But until ecosystem, only living things. Until community, only living. So that those are the areas where you have to pay attention. Otherwise, I can just give the definition, fill the blanks, and move to the next part. But no point. You will not improve your knowledge. You will not understand this. Now let's see the blank here. Group of organisms belong to the. I gave this. So this blank I gave the same species name. Right, same. The next one, community. Let's see community. Community means what? Population. Does please highlight that. Only one species. I'll highlight here. Population means only one species. Community. Group of different species, different types or different group of different species or different population, group of different population. Interact with each other in a particular location. That means what? Say plants live in that also, and they herbivores depends on plant material. So that's an interaction. Living interaction. In other words, what? Community means if you want to write within bracket living interaction, but not the same species. Living interaction. Living interaction. There. Living interaction. Interaction between different organisms. That is called community. If you take a say, if you have a pond in your garden, pond community. So you can take population of worms, population of frogs, population of tadpoles, population of fish, and population of say algae. Interact with each other, but don't tell water, oxygen, light, heat, air, nothing like that, because that's non-living. Community means only living, but different populations interact with each other. Understood? So you can write example for the community if you want. Pond community or school garden, you can take as a community. In other words, what? It's a relationship between groups of different species. If you write relationship between groups of different species. Population means what? Similar individuals mate with each other in a limited geographic area. So in a pond there are several populations interact with each other. You can write here example. In a pond different or several populations interact with each other. Example, pond community. In a pond there are different populations interact. So you can write here within bracket in a pond you can write within bracket fish, population of fish, population of worms, and population of amphibians, and population of aquatic plants, like that. You can write etc. So different populations, but all living. You can't put any non-living things for the community. All living population, not dead one. Nah? Population of fish, worms, amphibians. You can write many more. Population of salvinia, population of bacteria, population of microorganism, or population of lotus. Or they all interact with each other. Amphibians feed on the other organism in the, yeah, maybe parasitism, predation, various feeding relationships. Now I explain these three very important. They can ask in the exam definition of species, definition of population, and definition of community, and they can ask examples also. Right. Now let's see number 5. So we are here now. What? Community. Number 4 I told. Number 3 also we discussed. Then next one, ecosystem. So that is the turning point. Turning point means what? That is the place where living, non-living come to the picture here. Non-living environment, non-living things also we have to include in the ecosystem. So if you take ecosystem, in single call it parisara paddhati, I think, as I remember, ecosystem. Example, Singharaja forest, it's an ecosystem. Or grassland, or freshwater pond. Not only that, even your garden, paddy field, to become ecosystem. Okay, I'll erase the rest here. Upper part we finished now. Okay, otherwise it's like a lot of text on the screen. Right. So it's ecosystem. Ecosystem means all the communities. So if you want to write even all the populations and non-living components or completely non-living components interact in a particular area. Please highlight here non-living, or sometimes we call it abiotic. What is the other term used for non-living? Complete the blank. Non-living within brackets if you want to write here abiotic. Biotic means living, abiotic means non-living. All the communities and non-living example, if you take a pond, also can be considered as an ecosystem. In the pond, only if you take a pond, okay, only living things community. In a pond, if you consider all the living organisms, community of fish, community of tadpoles, community of worms, community of like algae, like that. But they cannot live without water. They cannot live without oxygen in the pond. Then what happened? Interaction with the non-living environment there. So when all the populations interact with non-living environment, that is called an ecosystem. That means all the populations in an area with the non-living environment. All the populations in non-living environment. That's why I put look at here. Number 5 in the flow diagram I give what? Living plus non-living interaction. Living non-living interaction makes the ecosystem. Right? I'll give one of the best example here. Sometimes some students they might not consider this as an ecosystem. If you take a decaying log of wood, a decaying log of wood also can be considered as a decaying log of wood. How come decaying log of wood become an ecosystem? Are there living organisms only one, not one type? There must be more than one type of population or a community. Community means group of population, different groups of population. So there must be more than one group of organism or more than one type of population in the decaying log of wood. Example, fungus, bacteria, arthropods, decaying log of wood. They interact with each other, non-living things, environment in the decaying log of wood. Say worms, centipede, millipede. Different populations or the groups of different organisms interact with the non-living environment. Termite, whale, coconut beetle, like different groups of organisms. They interact with each other. That is called ecosystem. So please write decaying log of wood also an ecosystem. If you take Some ecosystems are natural, some are artificial ecosystems. So imagine man-made or cultivated land. Cultivated land also an ecosystem, artificial ecosystem. Or aquarium, if you have a fish tank in your house, aquarium also considered as a small ecosystem. Why? In the aquarium, if there are aquatic plants, algae, and different types of fish in the tank, there can be microorganisms. So they all considered as, they all interact with non-living things in the tank. That is why aquarium also considered as an man-made ecosystem. Aquarium is man-made ecosystem. Cultivated land, man-made ecosystem. Cultivated land also man-made ecosystem. But if you take, you can take natural ones also, say grassland or rainforest, also ecosystem, rainforest. That one obviously no rainforest. Rainforest also an ecosystem. Grassland ecosystem. Please highlight here decaying log of wood. Even a big tree also considered as an ecosystem. A big tree also considered as an ecosystem. Right. So please highlight in this this, you should, what is this called, this pink one, the flow diagram, organizational levels or the hierarchy or the organization level of the biosphere. If you want, you can write the title for this one, organizational levels of the biosphere. This is called organizational levels of the biosphere or the increasing order of hierarchy. So please write it. This is called organizational levels of the biosphere. Organizational level of biosphere. Organizational levels of the biosphere. In the hierarchical order, in the increasing order. Shall I read this? So very important. Definition of species with example. Definition of population with example. Who, where, when, how many. I told you who, where, when, how many, population. Then community. Definition of community with examples. Until community I told only living. Different populations interact with each other. That is called community. That community interact with the non-living things called ecosystem. If all the communities interact with non-living things, we call it an ecosystem. So after ecosystem you get biosphere, after biosphere the parent earth. Right. Then number 4. Number 4, I think it's next one. This is bit important. I think this one they haven't given, I think, in the teacher's guide, or this is called biome actually. I don't know whether it's given in the textbook, but anyway I have given here number of organisms of a species living in a unit area in number of organisms of a species living in a unit area of a selected habitat. In living in a unit area, actually that is called population density. In a unit area, what is this called? Population density. Not the biome, population density. Please write that, population density. Number 4 the blank, population density. So that means density of the population what? Please come to the blank, I'll write the answer. Population density. Population density. Okay. What is population density? So if you take in a unit area, say per kilometer this much of humans in Colombo city, per kilometer this much of the human population in maybe Kurunagal, Batiklo. Number of organisms of the same, of one species, you can't take different species. Humans are only humans. If humans are only humans living in a unit area per square meter in a selected habitat, that is called population density. So example, if you take a country, you can take the population density example, or in a certain location also you can take selected habitat. One of the best example, if you take Sri Lanka, the population density is what? I'll give one example here. Population, I have not given here enough space to write the example, but anyway I'll write just below this, write example. Population density in Sri Lanka. Population density in Sri Lanka. Population density in Sri Lanka. Out SL. SL for Sri Lanka. In 2014. In 2014 was what? 329 approximately per square meter. That means in 1 square meter there are 329 per square meter. That means 1 meter length. If you take, that is called 1 square meter. Population density is, that is average. But if you go to rural area, so it's less, but this is average. What matters for the population density? Now I'll ask simple question now. Why world population now? Actually the elderly population is decreasing because of COVID, and the people with weak organs or heavy smokers are getting disappeared from the earth because of this pandemic situation. But other than that, what are the why human population is uncontrolled? Just no, I mean we can't imagine like any end of this human population growth. It's rapidly increasing in the world. Now it's like maybe 6 billion has become recently 7 billion, then it's reaching to 8 billion, like beyond that. But the space available for us to live, same. Lands won't multiply. Freshwater bodies won't multiply. Areas of the earth available to cultivate also limited. Is that clear? Therefore, it can cause some crisis also. That's what we experience today. For population density, or the size of the population, depends on one factor is what? Number of new, okay, I'll ask that same question again. Who can tell me why human population in the world is increasing? Right? Why it's rapidly increasing human population? Any volunteers? Okay, I'll ask the answer. Why human population? What is the main? What are the two main factors actually? Main factors affecting the size of the population. Why human? Why any other organism? This naturally controlled. I'll ask the answer from Suran.
Birth rate and death rate.
Very good, excellent, Suran. Birth rate and death rate. Now I am asking why. Okay, those are the two main factors which affect the population density. Now, human population is increasing due to which? Due to the increasing of which one or decreasing of which one? If it is birth rate, it's high or low, or whether death rate is high. So both will affect. Okay, I'll do one example. If birth rate equal death rate, then what happens? Population remain constant. When 10 births, 10 deaths per year. So there is constant. 3 in, 3 out. Like that. So then population remain constant. Now imagine if you want to keep the water level in a tank constant, what happens? When you pump 3 liters of water into the tank, then you have to remove 3 liters. Then the water level remain constant. So that is called, if birth rate is equal to the death rate, population remain unchanged. Then the world population should remain same. But if birth rate equal death rate, the population remain unchanged. Look at the screen. If you can copy down that. If birth rate equal death rate, then what? That is number one. Population remain what? Constant. If you take the size of the population with time, it remain constant like that. Uniform velocity like that. This is the size of the number here. This is the time. Then number two. If birth rate become more than death rate, if birth rate become greater than the death rate, then what will happen to the more births, less deaths? Then population is increasing, not like this, or it's rapidly like a J-shaped curve. Why? Because it's become, if there's 100, it become 200. 200 can become 400 if like that. That is called high birth rate than the death rate. Number of births. Third one, if death rate is greater than birth rate. If death rate is greater, death rate is higher than birth rate. more deaths than births. Then what happened? Population decrease like this. Decrease. That means death rate has increased than the birth rate. Then the world population will decrease. Now actually today what we experience is what? If birth rate is then less, so this is low death rate. Number 2, this is what we experience today. Low death rate and high birth rate. Actually birth rate can be same even, but mainly the low death rate. Why death rate? When the death rate become lower, then the birth rate become anyway, it's like comparatively it's become higher. Low death rate. Why low death rate is low now? Even due to this pandemic situation, somehow the people are struggling to survive. Take the vaccine and or maybe different methods, some they try to survive. Therefore low death rate is due to the improvement of health service and medical facilities. That's why annually the elderly population in the world is rapidly increasing. Like to any country, that is responsibility to maintain them. Pension should be given and to look out free health service. A lot of issues. Therefore elderly population is increasing due to the low death rate. Low death rate than the birth. I'm not telling like they should die, but that's happening for the public. But if you take in the sea, any other organism or in their natural environment, they are controlled by some other group because of parasitism or predation. Because one organism is eaten by but humans, that won't happen unless you jump to the cage of the lion in the zoo. You can ride a food chain: grass, cow, man, lion. Grass, cow, man, lion. Food chain is correct, but practically lion is going to humans are eaten by the lion. So that practically even in news I don't think you have watched recently, right? Therefore food chain is correct, but practically it's not seen. Therefore humans, there's no one to, we don't let anyone to consume our body as flesh or meat, because we lock the door and windows and close. But any other organism, they don't have any houses or room or to lock the door, and because at any time they can become the victim of the predators, they can become the prey of the predators, any other organism in the nature, especially herbivores, right? Therefore they live with lot of fear, not like us. But your room, where you lock the door and the window and sleep until morning, then even someone or your parents are knocking the door, you don't know, you are fast asleep. But the others, if you small change or the noise or sound, they get very much scared. Like even the dogs, birds, they fly away, they start barking, they are highly sensitive, right? Therefore that's also very very important understanding. Why world population is human population is rapidly increasing in the world? Because of low death rate. Why death rate is low? Due to the improvement of health service. Actually if you ask like your grandparents sometime, what happened that time, if there are 10 births, 2 will die, maybe due to different things, maybe polio or various infectious or uninfectious diseases, they die. Out of 5 births, maybe 2 at least die, but sometimes they are born not in the hospital, so they don't use sometimes sterilized instruments to take the baby out, right? Most of them are born, they are born at home, they give birth at home, the mother, pregnant mother. Now only with the improvement of medical or health service, even the early premature birth, then they keep this in this incubators, and somehow they, till the lungs are able to develop, then they keep it, right? So there are medicines, medical facilities, that is the main reason. So let's see what are the factors that affect the population density. Number 1, right, number of newborn organism added to the population. That means number of births. You can write here birth rate or number of births. First one will be number of births. So the birth rate. Complete the first plan. When the birth rate increase, whatever, population density increase per unit time. The next one, number of deaths per year or number. Okay, that means die in the population. Number of deaths or death rate. Next one, number 3. This is very important. Number of organism added to the population. That means what? Something like this. Sri Lanka, the population, human population in Sri Lanka can increase if USA citizens, they are struggling, they are waiting to get visa to come Sri Lanka, to settle, to get PR in Sri Lanka. Australians, European countries, Finland, Netherlands, Ukraine, so they are trying to come to Sri Lanka and settle here and to get PR and visa. And no, but practically that is not seen. But if that happens, what happens? Population in our country increase, but that is seen in the other countries. Australia, the population is increased. Why? Because of, we call it immigration and immigration. So we call it immigration. People are, I mean, like example, if you take Yal bird sanctuary, so the bird population sometimes it increases in certain months because of migrant birds. Then bird population can change from time to time. So same scenario here, when due to the immigration, that means more organisms are added to the population. Even the population in a country will change because of this. We call it immigration. So our country, that is not a problem because no one is coming here and settle, like, getting settled here. I don't think, very rarely, right? Americans, or the Australians or any other Chinese, Japanese people, and right. So they might target in, to capture our land, but not to get the visa and to get the PR here, very rarely. Otherwise, we will get a lot of foreign exchange, right? Okay, foreign currency. Now, right here, what is this? Immigration rate of I think there's a separate department in Sri Lanka for this. In single, we call it Agamana Vigamana. Agamana means immigration. Vigamana means emigration. Immigration. And the other one is people leaving from this. That is emigration. Immigration. Immigration means Agamana. There's a controller also for this Agamana. You can, like, you get the passport from these people. They issue the passport. Department of Immigration and Immigration. Department of Immigration. There's a separate department in our country for this, to control this. They have the statistics. EMMI. Immigration. Immigration. GRATION. Right. So these are the 4 main factors that affect the population density. Right. Birth rate, death rate, rate of immigration and rate of emigration. It means people leave the population. Right. Not the death. Leave in the population. Leave in the country. Many people are leaving Sri Lanka. Leaving the, right. Then that is about what? Factors affecting the population density. Then next one, biotic components in the ecosystem. Highlight the word biotic. Biotic means living. What are living components in an ecosystem? There are many living things. That means producers. Producers live in, that is called biotic. Biotic producers means plants. Then what else? What are the other biotic components? Producers. Then consumers. Consumers. That means herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Other than that, there are decomposers. They are all biotic. Okay, I'll put commas right here. Producers, that means plants and algae. Biotic means say producers. Now tomorrow is the grade 5 scholarship exam. No, first time they are keeping that on Saturday. Normally, usually it's on Sundays. And then next month A level exam. After that your exam calendar, scholarship grade 5, and then A level in February. And some schools, they are giving holidays for nearly 1 month. Mostly the coordinating centers and the exam centers. Most of the some government schools, they'll give holidays the whole month because of A level exam, but not the other schools. Right. What is producers? Producers means if you only write within bracket plants and algae. Then you can write consumers. Consumers means what? If you only write within bracket what? Herbivores. Herbivore is a consumer, carnivore, omnivore. Producers and consumers. Then decomposers and decompose. That means bacteria, fungi. They also live in decomposers. Who are decomposers? bacteria, or microorganisms. In other words, microorganisms. They are called biotic component. Biotic. Consumers, if you want to write within bracket below consumers, write carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores, and producers, write plants and algae within bracket if you have space. Then next one, let's see abiotic, that means non-living ones. Biotic means living and non-living ones. Abiotic components in an ecosystem. Okay, anyone can suggest abiotic components or the non-living things? Yes? Any volunteers? Can producers, consumers, decomposers survive without non-living things? Yes? You can take what? Water. Or inorganic compounds. Or what? Oxygen. Air. Water. Air. Then light. Sunlight. There are etc. When you go, yes?
So minerals.
Yeah, minerals, correct, very good. Sodium chloride is inorganic and it's abiotic. Minerals, very good. Minerals, water, air, sunlight, like that you can write many examples, no, inorganic compounds, even mineral ions, yes. But these are called physical factors, sometimes pH, acidity, basicity of water, like that. So they are called physical factors, heat, right? That is none. So therefore, biotic and abiotic interaction called what? Ecosystem. Definitely they should interact, otherwise the living things will disappear from the earth. That's why when the scientists, when they research on the other planets or the Mars or any other planet, first they check not the living things, whether non-living things are available, whether water is available in Mars, whether atmosphere is there in that planet. If there's an atmosphere in that planet, if moisture, water available in that planet, definitely then they can go for the rest of the things, the whether there can be a life in it or can survive, living thing. Right. Therefore, first they don't check the living things, first they check non-living things, whether oxygen they are in that atmosphere, whether moisture, water vapor is available, like that. Right. Then next one, number 6. This is also very okay. Okay. Again, I'll summarize the first page. I explain a lot. What are the most important thing? This flow diagram you should know. Please put a star. I don't know how many of you have. Second time I'm rewinding this, and then you should know the definition of what? Population, ecosystem, species, and community with examples. Population density also bit important. Then next, the most important, this also better to put 3 stars. Population growth curve. So there are 2 curves. So one is typical population or natural population. That means any other organism other than except humans. There are 4 phases here. Phase 1, that is called slow growth phase. Slow growth. That means population is increasing slowly. Phase 1, slow growth. Then why slow growth? Less matured organism, lack of enough food. Number 2, what happened? Then population growth increasing. Why? Now population growth has slightly increased. What is the difference? Have you ever thought why this second one, like acceleration, like rapid increase in the population? You can see a phase 2. I call high growth. Second phase called high growth. Why high growth? Rapid growth, abundance of food. One reason is what? Availability of food. They eat, they sleep, and they reproduce. Abundance of food. More matured organism, then they can reproduce. High rate of reproduction. More food, then reproduce and increase the population. That is number 2. That is the highest rate. Then phase 3. Then you slow down again. Why? When there are many organisms in the limited area, even like in a certain selected area, whatever, there will be a competition among them. If all the jack seeds are grown under the mother plant, then there will be a lot of competition among them. right? So when the competition, when there's a competition, what happen, they will not get the essential things, lack or the shortage. That happen, then what happen, weak organisms will disappear from the earth, right? So therefore, please write here phase 3 decelerating one. This one they have given in the TG also, you should know. So they have what is the reason? Food shortage, more competition, predation and parasitism, and spreading of diseases. That is the population thing. So therefore, when there's a, okay, I'll give one example. Predation means, I'll give one of the best example. In a grassland, there are many grasshoppers. Grasshoppers population rapidly increasing. What happen? All the frogs will get attracted towards that grassland and will control the grasshoppers population. Grasshoppers population controlled by the frog. Is that clear? That is called predation. Parasitism also there. Virus come and destroy the entire group of organism. Then population decreases. Number 3, I told decelerate. That is the reason. So lack of food, or I mean lack of food and more competition for various needs. Because when demand is more and supply is less, then there will be a crisis. Number 4, what has happened now? It has reached to the, okay. This also I explained in number 3. Slow down. Number 2, rapid, like a rapid increase because of more competition. I mean less competition, more organism, plenty of food, more matured organism, then they reproduce have more. Number 4, what happened? It reached to the carrying capacity. You cannot go beyond this. You cannot go beyond this. That is the maximum carrying capacity. This is for the typical population growth. Humans, if you draw, it's a different scenario. That's one also I have given here. Sometimes they can ask this under MCQs also in the oral paper. Which of the following represent the typical population growth curve, and they can give. Okay, so the for graph. But remember, they will never ask to explain each phase like this in point form. Don't memorize. Okay, if you can show the past papers, the questions they have asked. So they can ask why in the second phase population is rapidly increasing. Okay, they can ask the explanation sometimes for that, rather than just drawing this, put in phase 1 to 4 with these examples. Right, then I erase this. This one put 3 stars, very important for the exam. Very, very important. Have to remember. Right. Next one, number 7. Number 4. That is called stationary phase. So dynamic. That dynamic, that means is balanced. No, is stationary or dynamic equilibrium or stabilized one. Very good. That means here what happened? Birth rate and mortality rate. That means death rate. This is called death rate. It has become equal. It has become equal. That means population remain constant. Growth of the population is 0. No growth. No growth. So number of organism at that time is called carrying capacity. Cannot go above, say 100,000 here, they are the value, cannot go above 1,000. Is that clear? Right. That is called carrying capacity or equilibrium. I agree, here dynamic equilibrium is stable. That means what? There are birth as well as deaths, but the rate is equal. Now this is the uncommon one. Out of all the other organisms, humans, the population is different shape. That is called J shape. J shape curve. And the other one is called S or sigmoid shape. In the S or sigmoid. Sigmoid, or you can write S shape. Please write that near that graph. The human population one is J, like it's like the letter J shape curve. J shape. Right. So why is rapid increase like the velocity time graph? Rapid increase. Why? So maybe here 3 billion. Now it so wait, this axis no? Is here 3 billion in 2000, say 2000 or 1990. Then it has become what? Double. When the time is double, this become more than that. It's not possible. Rapid increase. We call it J shape. There are two reasons. One reason, right? Low death rate. Why human population is rapidly increasing? Due to low death rate. And the second one, right? High birth rate. Now, actually, like most developed, I mean, like China, the highest population in the world. So sometimes what happen, like one child in a family, that policy. So that is control the population. That is high birth rate also will affect, no? High birth rate. Low death rate and high increasing of the birth rate and decreasing of death rate. Low death rate and high birth rate. Right. If one of this, then no need the other one. One of this there, then you will get this problem. Number 7, flow of nutrient in an ecosystem. Okay, up to here, any questions now? Actually, that's the next part is flow of energy. Again, I am telling this program you should not write how to write them in the correct order, hierarchy, and then you should know the definition of each inside this cage. What? Species, population, community, ecosystem, and the planet Earth. Then number 6, number 7, look at the screen. Number 7, flow of nutrients and energy in an ecosystem. Right. Actually, all the organisms or all the living things we can divide into 3 groups based on their nutrition. Based on the nutrition we can divide. Number 1, they are producers, so primary producers. Primary producers. So what is that? Transform simple inorganic compound, that means what? Carbon dioxide and water, to organic compound, that is carbohydrate. Carbon dioxide and water combine to become carbohydrate, that is photosynthesis. That is what the producers are doing, even plants or algae or terrestrial or aquatic plant. Out of them, photoautotroph. Actually, that is plants and algae. Plants and algae. Number 3, chemoautotroph. That means what? Bacteria. Some bacteria. Even fungi. Right. Then B, consumers. Who are big? That one is producers. Consumers. Cannot produce their own food. Depend on the food produced by the others. Right? Consumers. Consumers also can be herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Then some bacteria, not all the bacteria, some bacteria, and some fungi also autotroph. Fungi you can't write, sorry about that. Only some bacteria. Fungi anyway completely heterotrophic. Fungi don't write under chemoautotroph, only some bacteria. Some bacteria, not all the bacteria, some bacteria chemoautotroph. So that's based on the nutrition, we can put them into different groups. Either herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, so those who are coming like, consumers, herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Yeah. Next one. What is this one? Last blank here. Primary producers. That first tropic level. That also called first tropic level. First tropic level. Right? First tropic level. That is the primary. Not producer. Consumers. Primary consumer will be the second tropic level. Second tropic level, because producer will be the first tropic level. Primary, you can write here, this will be the first tropic level. before the others, or the first tropic level. Producer. Consumers, second tropic level. Primary consumer. I erase this. This is example of who can primary consumer. You can write what? Herbivore. Example, herbivore. Herbivore, you can write here like cow, elephant. Largest animal in the world, elephant, depend on plant material. Right. Next one. Secondary consumers, that is called third tropic level. Okay. Third tropic level. Consumer secondary, but tropic level third. Example. What are the example for the third tropic? I'll give one of the best examples. Look at the screen, everyone. Very well. Forget about this. This one. Look at this food chain. Look at the food chain. I'll try it here. Grass, grassland, frog, and eagle. Frog, eagle. Now, look at the screen. Grass will be what? First tropic level. Grass will be the first tropic level. Grassland will be the second tropic level. Frog will be the third tropic level. Third tropic level. Eagle will be the fourth tropic level. So similarly, I'll write just about this. Grass will be the producer. Producer. This is primary consumer. Primary consumer. This is secondary consumer. This is tertiary consumer. Tertiary consumer. Tertiary consumer, eagle. You can look at here now. See whether it's matched now what I explained before. Secondary consumer to which tropic level? Third tropic level. Am I correct now? Here, third tropic level. Who is that secondary consumer? This is what I explained. Otherwise, if I directly write that, you will not understand. You can copy down this food chain if you want. You can copy down this food chain and label it parallel to this. This one. I highlighted the food chain. Above that, write the primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer with the next one, right? And below this, right? First tropic level, second tropic level, third and fourth tropic level. But anyway, you cannot go more than, I think, 6 tropic level, maximum about 6, 7, because after that, no energy to increase to maintain that population. Right? Because energy is lost. In each step, certain amount of energy is lost. Then higher tropic level won't get enough energy. Right? Do you understand? Right. Then example for the secondary consumer, you can write what? You can write, if you want, you can write in case of this food chain also, you can write secondary consumer, the tropic level. So you can write here omnivore. Right, omnivore. The last one, tertiary consumer. Who is tertiary? Okay, previous and secondary. Secondary means what? Third tropic level. Tertiary means what? Fourth, fifth tropic level. Exactly. Okay, wait. I'll show the food chain now again. Look at this food chain. Tertiary one is what? Fourth tropic level. Fourth tropic level. I given here, right? Tertiary is fourth tropic level. Eagle. Before that, secondary is frog. Right here. Under part C, look at the screen here. I erase the screen. Tertiary consumer, fourth tropic level. Sorry, fifth. Right. This is fourth. No, sorry about that. Fourth. tertiary. You can look here the by food chain. I'll display the food chain again and you can easily understand. Yeah, this one. Tertiary is fourth tropic level. Tertiary is fourth tropic level. Fourth tropic level, right? That is eagle. Eagle tertiary tropic level 4. That's right. The next one. Example, you can write top carnivores. Top carnivores. Mostly the carnivores. Right. The next one. Part C. Organisms feed on bodies of the who are these? Depends on the feed on the bodies of dead bodies of organism. Converting complex organic compounds into simple, like carbohydrate, protein, lipid, complex compound organic. They are broken down into simple by the digestive system actually. Digestion of food, digestive enzymes. Right. So what is them? Who are they? Decomposers. These are the biotic components, decomposers. Right. That means bacteria and fungi. If you want to write here, decomposers are mainly bacteria and fungi. If you want to write that within bracket. Bacteria and fungi act as decomposers. Otherwise, dead bodies will remain as it is forever. Dead bodies will remain as it is forever in the nature. If there are no decomposers are very important. If the soil become fertile, or the decay leaves, or the whatever, they are decayed by the action of microorganisms. Therefore, decomposers get energy from the dead bodies of organisms. Decomposers bacteria, that's why we call some bacteria chemoautotrophic. Then next one, flow of energy in an ecosystem. Right. What is the main source of energy to any ecosystem? The sun. Sun's energy is flowing, and the energy flow, it's unidirectional. Remember 2020 O-level paper, they have asked questions from this. 2020 O-level paper also they have asked questions from this part. Maybe 1 or 2 MCQ maximum, or else you can get this under structured essay. Anyway, the structured essay question number 1 from this. That means from this lesson, structured essay compulsory question. This Biosphere lesson. Otherwise, structured essay question number 2 mainly classification, like reproduction lesson, but both are biology. But this is complete from the Biosphere lesson. Right. So let's see how energy flows. So I think we have about 10 minutes. I'll quickly explain this. Look at the screen, everyone. The main source of energy to an ecosystem is what? Sun. Sun's energy fixed by producers. So remember, always there will be a fixed percentage going to the next level from the previous level. That is 10%. 2000 into 10% is what? 20. Sorry, it's 20,000. Then it becomes 2000 kilojoules. Again, from 2000 only 10% going to the next level. That is 200 kilojoules. From 200 also only 10% going to the next level. Then you get 20 kilojoule. I'll quickly put the values. Then you can find what energy is lost. In each link, the energy is lost. 200 become 20 kilojoules. Now you can see gradually the energy decreases. What is the main source of energy to any ecosystem? Sun. Sun's energy fixed by the producers. So this 20,000 I have given here 20, no 2, yeah 20. Yeah, it's 20,000 joules, and that is by producers. So that certain amount of that energy is going to the next level, because even imagine I put here producer and consumer here. Say I'll put okay, directly I put here grasshopper. Then it's easy to understand. Grass. So this arrow will never become reverse direction. Then what happened? Grasshoppers should be able to eat the grasses. Grasshopper. Then grasshoppers are eaten by frogs. Frogs are eaten by, say, eagle. So that's why the number of eagles in an environment is less than frogs. Number of frogs less than grasshopper. Instead of frogs, I'll write snake here. This is better. Right. So what has happened now? Energy decrease. And energy unidirectional energy will not be reversed. Why? Otherwise, grasses should be able to eat the grasshoppers. Can grasses eat grasshoppers? If grasses can eat grasshoppers, then you can put the arrow backward. Right? Will the frog, can frog eat the snakes? Can't. Otherwise, you can put the arrow backwards. Is that clear? So therefore, flow of energy always what? Unidirectional. Flow of energy is always unidirectional. And what is the main source of energy? Come to the first blank, sun. And green plants absorb energy of the sun and produce what? Food. By using what? Organic food by using CO2 and H2O as raw material. CO2 and H2O as raw materials. So energy fixed by producers travel to the consumers through what? Food chain. Because of food chain, it goes to the next level. Food chain, if you want to write here, food webs also. And next one, what is the percentage of energy lost in each tropic level? 10% of energy is lost in each tropic level. We call it energy dissipation here. 10% is lost. 10% is lost. That is called what? Energy dissipation. That is 10% of the energy from the previous tropic level lost. In each tropic level, 10% is lost, fixed value, due to what? Death, due to excretion, and due to the, or even any other, due to excretion, due to metabolic activities, respiration, like that. Death, excretion, metabolic activities. Respiration, what is used of glucose? Metabolic activity. So you can write here respiration within bracket. Respiration, excretion, death. So that energy is not available. What? Some grasses will die without consumed by grasshoppers. Do you understand here? Even though, okay, assume that all the grasses are eaten by grasshoppers, still the grasshoppers will not be able to get 2000 kilojoules. Why? Certain amount of this energy is used by the grasses for their growth, for their development. Not everything not provided to the grasshoppers. Therefore, some grasses might die without consumed by the grasshoppers. That is used by decomposers. That is also energy cannot be destroyed or created. Grasses, that energy is frog, then snake. Right. Next one. This is known as, this is very important, highlight this, energy dissipation. What is this word called? Energy dissipation. This word is I wrote in red because it's very, very important. Right. Energy dissipation. D-I-S-S-I-P-A-T-I, dissipation. P-A-T-I-O-N. Right. Then only wait, there's a small correction here. Not 10%. This should be 90% loss, because 10% only the passes to this one. This 90% is loss here. 90% is not going to the next level. 90% of energy not going. That is dissipation. 90% is loss. That is not going to the next level. Only 10% goes to the next level. Therefore, this will be what? 90%. What is the amount loss in each tropic level? 90%. This one you write 10%. Only 10% of energy passes through the lower tropic level. And flow of energy occurs ecosystem in one direction. Only in one direction. Only in one direction. Never become reverse. Right. So those few blanks we have to complete, because these keywords or technical, this is very important. This food chain here, death, excretion and metabolism. Okay. I think so almost what's the time now? It's, we have about 10 minutes. Okay, right. Again, there's one more thing. Can you all please write here? Energy is decrease in number of organism. Number of organism also, if you take here, I'll give one example. 100,000 grasses. Frogs will be what? Less than that. I'll put here number of grasshoppers. Grasses 100,000. Assume, this is an assumption. 100,000 grasses, will the grasshoppers become more than grasses? Never. In a grassland, grasshoppers will never become more than the grasses. So grasshoppers, I'll write say 25,000. Then frogs will be less than that. I'll put here say 2,000. And snakes will be around 25, like that. Something like that. Number also decreasing, because I told you energy is not available, not enough to increase the population. Population cannot increase because little energy for the top carnivores, eagle, hawk, they get very little energy because before that the other groups, uh, they utilize for their growth, metabolic activities, respiration, and all. Right. This 10%, 90% important. What is the main source of energy for any ecosystem? Sun's energy going through the other through the food chain. So this one you can write food, and here the simpler now carbon dioxide and water vapor. Shall I erase this? Anyone still copying down? Anyone still copying down? Shall I erase this? Done, right? Okay, I'll erase this. Flow of energy occurs in an ecosystem in what? In unidirection. In unidirection. That means only in one direction. Only in one unidirection means, or you can else I'll write it only in one direction. It's easy. Only in one direction. Only in one direction. Right, only in one direction. Okay, what happened to that 99? Okay, actually plants, okay, green plants fix only 0.1% of the sun's energy for the photosynthesis. The rest is what? Large quantity of heat or the energy reaching from the sun to the earth, what? Used up for the evaporation of water. Used up for the evaporation of water. That's also very important for the regulation of the temperature of the earth. Right? Used up for the evaporation of water. Number 2. Out of this total energy reaching from the sun to the earth, photosynthesis is only 0.1%. The rest is what? Various what? Evaporation of water from the aquatic environment. What else? Anything else that will happen to this 90%, 99%? Any volunteers? Yes? Due to the okay, for reflection, certain amount of heat reflected by the atmosphere. Reflection by atmosphere. What else? Reflected back to the space again by the earth atmosphere and absorbed by the soil, and certain amount of this energy is absorbed for what? Certain amount of this sun's energy is used up or the absorption for the heat in the atmosphere. Heating up the atmosphere. Atmospheric gases like greenhouse gases absorb this energy. Carbon dioxide can absorb this energy. So therefore, out of the total energy reaching from sun to the earth, very small percentage, 0.1% utilized for photosynthesis. The rest for various other methods, for the evaporation of water from the ocean and the other aquatic environment, right? And reflected back to the space by the atmosphere, atmospheric gases, and heating up of the atmosphere. So those are the things that could happen to this 99.9% energy. Actually, plants take only 0.1% to maintain the entire earth, the herbivores, and then the carnivores and omnivores. It's very interesting, right? And what is the solar energy fixed by the primary producers? That is actually 0.1%. What is the percentage of energy that flows from one tropic level to the next level? That is 10%. 10% one tropic level to the next 10%. Percentage of solar energy that's fixed by primary producer 0.1%. That means 99.9% loss. Right. That is the end of page. Anyway, this kind of biology also. Next week I'll use the PowerPoint slide and the videos also. What are the ways energy is lost in each tropic level? You can write here due to the death, due to the excretion, due to okay, right here due to metabolism. Due to metabolism. Metabolic activities. Or else you can write due to respiration. due to excretion, due to death, due to death, due to metabolic activities, or else you can write excretion and respiration, due to excretion and respiration. But if you write metabolic activities, no need write that. Metabolic activities means excretion and respiration also metabolic activity. Excreted as waste, excreted as waste, and in addition that it utilized for their growth, that's called metabolic activities. Okay, next one, consider the, okay, after this I'll quickly finish this. Consider the primary producer. Who is primary producer? Anyone can give the guy, any volunteers here? Who is the primary producer here in this food chain? This one I'll explain next day, I think, because it's almost 8 o'clock now, then it's linked to the number 14 also. Can you do this at home? This one, try to do this based on this food chain. You have to fill the blanks here. It's not hard. So you do this for homework, and next day I'll give the answers for this, and I think most probably we can complete nearly 50% by next week. And I'll post excretory system. I think we had on respiratory and digestive only. Excretory system also I'll discuss parallel to this next week. Excretory, then blood circulatory and nervous and endocrine systems we have discussed parallel to the biosphere lesson. And remember, tomorrow night paper class I'll be discussing this paper. Please complete this one. Unit 14 revision. I have given the last previous questions, so please complete this. Some of your theoretical chapter and also I have given this. But anyway, if you can refer this, because I have added few more new questions here. Because all these from hydrocarbon lesson, there are nearly 11 MCQs, 2019 all paper question also there. Please try to complete this before tomorrow night paper class if possible, Saturday night. Right? Okay, this is almost 10 o'clock. We'll stop for today. Good night and God bless you.